The issues that he raised in the quest by Minister for Government Communication to explain has raised more questions than answers. Look, here. Someday.
4 years is a long.
Oh, and nobody cares.
It's a long time.
Talking about minority issue.
3 months, grandma.
That you can go after 1, you can go after 2, you can go after 88. Asante kotoko one Apimbaba. But this is not the Ghana that Mr. Mahama promised the people. Yes, no problem. I'm not going to come and sit here and defend anybody for the sake of it. For what? But Charlie, it's becoming too much.
But
too much.
What would you rather government should have done? For example, say police
committee na president was set up. To
national security.
No.
Now evidence or one on fire.
That's Obi.
I want to
remember, a media man. You work based on sources.
Sure.
Can anybody compel you to provide your source and evidence based on which you get some information and put it in the public?
No.
Senior, Mr.
But say individual journalist. So the Nico before a committee now on
can you force him to give any evidence?
Oh yeah, your friend say
Kojo
ranking member.
Kojo.
That's not what he's been throwing about.
But that is who he is.
The man of the
Kojo Obi
who say local
Mustata.
Honorable me patrol many yes. Honorable me
Mustata. Mon stop him.
Twadumam.
Stop.
In our essay, this was
for the life of me understand.
Arrest or whatever.
What is the basis? Consent. Well, appointment letter one more. What is the basis?
Yes.
The duty of the state security. Niroba assure Ghana for with credible investigations. Not the inconsistent statements that my good friend Felix issued. Airplane the crowd last time 18 December 2024. Felix Wabagana Groma. When the publicly available information, work that your own sister station has done, shows that what he is saying holds no water. It should be of no concern to us.
Which one is of no concern? Which one?
That a suspicious flight has come into Ghana. Felix of Luanda. Did any plane come from Luanda into Accra and stay there 5 days? So what are we talking about? Movement without more. It could be that one very amba. And of course, if you could not catch in Team Fojo, the plane be based on because Team Fojo doesn't work at the airport. Somebody must have told him. It could be the so-called drugs now. If you know, says money laundering activity now. If you know us there, I mean a vessel or airplane or bar. It could be that it's not true. But the movement of the plane with no patient or organ coming into your jurisdiction shouldn't concern you, state security.
But they've told you there
that what
it entered the jurisdiction one to refuel
from where.
And then
refuel from where?
It so happened there.
Air-med flight. Remember, air-med flight. No, but that statement in itself, based on publicly available information, is untrue.
Where are you getting your information?
Go to Flight Radar 24. Same source that Okujeto used to track President Akufo-Addo's planes. Same source.
And what did you see there?
It says the flight came to Accra. And left Accra.
In fact, Fact Check Ghana.
What are we talking about?
Owned by the Media Foundation for West Africa, ISR Fact Check.
What are we talking about? Kojo?
It doesn't it
Let's
doesn't
not joke
support
with some of these
minister
things.
narrative.
Let's not joke with it.
Say
blame no fear of Luanda.
Let me get fact check. Wait, you proceed.
Of Luanda. The information is publicly available. It's the air ambulance, but who chrome? No one for patient and bar, and it's of no concern to state security. And that the ranking member who raised the issue should now go and bring evidence. Are we serious? So you go to his house with masked men and arms in a democracy?
You have
evidence, right?
People. Your people.
You have evidence.
You
have evidence.
Election day. So please stop pontificating.
People have died, unfortunately, in elections since 1992.
So stop this.
Since 1992.
Which year was
Go back and go and check.
Which year was
Unfortunate as they are.
Which
and so because of that,
no,
perpetrate
stop
it.
the pontification.
No, so are you justifying it?
Justifying what?
Justifying
what?
Kangaroo
Which law
activity?
have they broken? Which law?
But what law has in Team for broken?
You tell me which law the state security broke by going to arrest him. Tell me which law.
Hey, the level of intolerance of what demonstrated in 90 days. The level of intolerance. You people said all sorts of things against Akufo-Addo.
And he was quiet.
And what did he do to you?
He was quiet.
What did he do to you?
Oh, that's how we do so, Amekasa. Don't worry.
People said all sorts of things against people in government. Your liberties were guaranteed.
Okay. Into law and potential Mamin Khan. Allegations about airplanes trafficking drugs money into Ghana. Here is what we know. We fact check Ghana, and for the purpose of Nkomo, we now read the entire story. Now, the Minority Caucus in Parliament alleged in a press conference last week that they suspected 2 airplanes which landed in Ghana in March 2025 trafficked cocaine and money into the country. The MP for Ashanti South constituency, Reverend John Ntim Fojo, who addressed the press conference in Parliament, said, quote, "Reliable intelligence intercepted by the minority indicates that on March 20th, 2025, Air Med Flight N823 AM, which is an air ambulance, and I must stress, it is an air ambulance designed specifically to carry patients, landed at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra, Ghana, and remained in the country for 5 days before departing on March 25th back to Gran Canaria." Unquote. He added that their intelligence suggested that the air ambulance did not carry any patient, nor did it depart with one, but rather carried items suspected to be cocaine and money in various US dollars and other currencies. Reverend Ntim Fojo further alleged that another plane, Kavok Air private jet and Antonov AN-12B, which also landed at the Kotoka International Airport on March 12, 2025, from Gran Canaria, was suspected of trafficking drugs and money. According to the MP, the private jet remained in the country until March 25th, 2025, when it returned to Gran Canaria. Minister of Government Communications and MP for Abra Asebu Kwaman Kese, Felix Ofosu Kwakye, has responded to the claims by Reverend Ntim, labeling the allegations as false in a broadcast published on his social media pages on April 2nd. The minister explained that both flights, though unrelated, arrived in Ghana for, quote, genuine reasons, unquote, and their arrivals were, quote, perfectly legitimate, unquote. He explained that the flight made stops for either, quote, scanning and screening, unquote, or for refueling, but realized that they developed some faults that were later repaired before they left the country. He firmly denied the drug trafficking and money laundering allegations. The allegations made by Reverend Intim and the explanation provided by Felix Ofosu Kwakye have generated enormous public debate and media discussions, leaving many confused about the facts of the matter. In this report, Fact Check Ghana presents facts about the travel history of the airplanes that have been mentioned in the alleged drug trafficking and money laundering issues. While Fact Check Ghana could not ascertain what was contained in the airplanes when they arrived at the Kotoka International Airport, we were able to confirm when the flight landed and departed from the country. We verified the claims by consulting a number of real-time flight tracking platforms, including Flight Aware, Flight Radar 24, Flight Finder, and AirNav Radar. On the first flight, which is AirMed flight N823AM, both Reverend Intim Fojo and Mr. Kwakye mentioned AirMed flight number N823AM in their claims. AirMed flight N823AM is a Hawker 800 XP air ambulance operated by AirMed International. The company is based in Birmingham, Alabama, in the US of A, and operates a fee-for-service air ambulance service. According to the open source flight activity history, N823AM, as captured by Flight Aware, the flight moved from its base in Birmingham, Shuttlesworth International, to St. John's International Airport in Canada on March 18, 2025. It moved the following day from Canada to the Santa Maria International Airport on the island of Santa Maria in Portugal. On that same day, March 19, 2025, the AirMed moved from Santa Maria to Gran Canaria International Airport. The following day, on March 20, 2025, the flight moved from Gran Canaria and landed at the Kotoka International Airport at 9:02 GMT. It stayed at Kotoka until it departed on March 25, 2025 at 1:02 AM back to Gran Canaria. On that same day, it went back to Santa Maria and then to St. John's International in Canada, and they share extract of the activity history of the flight. Did AirMed 8 N823AM go through Luanda before landing in Ghana? Well, that was one of the claims of the minister. In his response to the allegations leveled by Reverend John Intim Fojo about the AirMed flight, the Minister of Government Communications, Felix Kwakye, said, quote, "Now this flight landed in Ghana on 20th March from Gran Canaria, Las Palmas, Spain, having gone through Luanda in Angola," unquote. Thus, the minister's response suggested that the AirMed made a stop at Luanda in Angola. However, Fact Check Ghana's checks of the flight activity history from the available open source data did not find evidence to support the minister's claim. The available detailed flight history shows that N823AM flew directly from the Gran Canaria Island to Kotoka International Airport. Details on the helping flight AirMed N864AM, because first one here N823AM, but we were told say another say another flight at the Neoma and a crew by to come and service the first. Or say in Felix Ofosu Kwakye's broadcast, he indicated that when AirMed N823AM developed a fault when it landed at Kotoka International Airport on March 20th, another flight was sent to supply materials needed for its servicing. He said the flight with registration number N864AM landed at Kotoka International Airport on March 22nd. Fact Check Ghana's verification indeed confirms that N864AM, a Hawker 800 XPI, landed in Ghana on March 22nd at 5:44 AM GMT. However, contrary to the minister's claim that the flight came from Luanda, Angola, the data shows that N864AM flew straight from Gran Canaria Island. After staying at the Kotoka International Airport for almost 2 hours, N864AM flew at 7:24 a.m. on the same day to a location near Luanda. According to Flight Aware, hours later, the flight flew from 4 de Fevereiro International Airport in Luanda to the Lanseria International Airport, a privately owned airport in Johannesburg, South Africa, on that same day, March 22nd, 2025. The return of the AirMed N864AM to Ghana. On March 23rd, 2025, AirMed 864AM returned to the Kotoka International Airport from the 4 de Fevereiro International Airport in Luanda. The plane landed at 12:15 a.m. GMT. AirMed N864AM stayed for 24 hours in Ghana and left at 1:20 a.m. GMT on March 24th, 2024 for the Gran Canaria Islands. And below is an extract of the activity history of AirMed N864AM. And so far, 2 airlines, Bako N823AM, which was the first flight a buy, and 64AM in the day, Neoma a buy to come and repair, and also the flight history, and on the trigger. And then to the other flight, which is the Antonov flight, CVK 7037 and CVK 7007. Reverend Intim in the press stated that a cargo plane, Kavok Air private jet Antonov AN-12B, was also suspected to have contained and trafficked drugs and money. Even though the name he provided was just the aircraft model, Felix Ofosu Kwakye in his response presented what he believes is the registration number of the cargo plane. The minister said the cargo plane's registration number is CVK 7037, which landed in Ghana on March 12, 2025. Kavok Airlines is a Ukrainian cargo airline based in Kiev, the country's capital. It runs a number of private jets available for charter. When Fact Check Ghana checked on the flight activity history on CVK 7037, we did not find any available data on all the accessible open source platforms that track flight. The last time the platforms tracked CVK 7037 was on December 2024, when it moved from Malaga in Spain on December 18th to a location near Cairo in Egypt on December 19th. According to Felix Ofosu Kwakye, when CVK 7037 landed in Ghana for a technical stop, it developed an engine blade fault, and it also had a severe oil leakage. The minister explained that another cargo flight, CVK 7007, was brought down to evacuate the cargo that CVK 7037 carried. Again, checks by Fact Check Ghana on the travel activity history of CVK 7007 yielded limited results. The latest available travel activity data on CVK 7007 shows that it flew from Harare, Zimbabwe on March 15, 2025 and landed in Kotoka on the same day at 12:23 p.m. GMT. This gives some credence to the claim by Felix that the plane indeed came to Ghana. It must be noted that the absence of travel activity history of CVK 7037 and CVK 7007 does not mean they do not fly in and out of Ghana. It is not unusual for the flight activity history of private jets to be missing from publicly available data. In conclusion, the claims about the times of arrival and departure of AirMed N823AM at the Kotoka International Airport are consistent with the open source data of the flight activity history. However, there is no evidence to support Felix Ofosu Kwakye's claim that AirMed N823AM went through Luanda, Angola before coming to Ghana. Also, AirMed N864AM, which according to the minister was sent down to bring materials to service AirMed N823AM, did not only come to Ghana once. The flight landed at Kotoka International Airport on March 22nd and returned on March 23rd before leaving for Gran Canaria Island on March 24th. And that's the story of Fact Check Ghana.
Without more, does not require investigation.
Oh, no,
This was some I was law school, Jacobi.
Essay.
Missy, this story without more does not require investigation.
Oh, based on the further investigation.
It's for evidence for information.
Mate, medase. My mintie.
Hence the Rambo style attack to his house with armed masked men.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Honorable Kojo Edward.
President John.
Sometimes all you need is something sweet to snack out.